Meteorological Agency NIMET released a 2020 seasonal rainfall prediction report, which forecasts that the onset of the growing season is expected to be near normal to earlier than normal in most parts of the country. It also forecasts February 24 as the likely date for the earliest onset around coastal zones of south-south states, while the earliest cessation date of around September 26 around Katsina, northern parts of Sokoto, and December 28 for the Niger Delta region. Recently, some states in the northern region are already being ravaged by floods. How prepared is the government and everyone for the coming rainy season? Yeah, there has been that break, but it's coming back again. So how prepared is everyone? So to help us understand, we have Clement Nze, who's the Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nze.
Thank you, Nato.
Okay, so that prediction and the situation, already we're seeing that some states are already being flooded. But what measures have been put in place to salvage this flood?
No, I think that question should have been directed to the state governments and not to a forecasting agency.
Yeah,
we had an earlier guest, I think Suleiman from the civil society.
Yes.
He made mention of the release of rainfall issues by NIMET earlier in the year. And that the NIMET sent information down to the states. And most of the states work with that information. Following the prediction by the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, which was made public earlier in May with regards to flooding season in Nigeria. The Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, authored letters addressed to state governors mentioning the names of local government areas in each of the states in Nigeria. The letters were specific to each of the governors. Each of the governors were told, these are the local government areas in your states, or in your state that will be inundated in the course of the flooding season. The question will be, Governor A, Governor B, what did you do with the information given to you by the forecasting agency, by the Honorable Minister of Water Resources? That's why I said that the question could have been sent, or be directed to the people at the grassroots, the people that are in charge of the states, the local government council, chairmen, and so on and so forth. So we perform our own part of the duty. There are different legs. The forecasting agency, which predicts earlier before the events begin to happen. Now, the other leg of it is those that are supposed to implement issues raised in the forecast, in the prediction. What have those people, the states, what have they done to ensure that what we are experiencing now, they are reduced, the impact is reduced? My agency on February 4th, during the dry season, we sent out an alarm. We have to agitate the nation. This is the dry season. That the best time to prepare for war is during the time of peace. Now there is no rain yet, not much. Or even if there has been any rain so far as at early as February 4, no flood incident have been recorded in Nigeria. That was the time people could see clearly to do some jobs, to do some take remedial measures. What did the state government do? The federal government at Abuja will not be expected to go to the states, which have their own level of autonomy, to begin to demolish structures that are obstructing the flow of flood, or to begin to clear their drainages, or to begin to construct drainages where they don't exist at all. The federal level has done its own work. The other level of government is expected to follow suit.
Okay, so I asked that question to you because I do know that, yes, yours is a predicting agency and then to monitor the water services and quality of the water tables and all that across the country. I do know that, but I asked it to you to find out how much of engagement your agency is having with the government. Yes, the letter was written to the state, but in terms of having gone forward with this letter, does that end it for your agency, or are you also still concerned about what they even do, or even if they are looking in that direction as regards managing the water systems in the area?
Okay, I think on the 25th of July, we equally raised another signal that so far the most part of the country is being ravaged by urban flooding and coastal flooding, depending on the disaster that are within the coastal areas. That the third leg of the flood is still coming. We use various social media handles to interfere with the state governments, still drumming to their ears what is still likely to happen. And that is when the third leg of the flooding incident, will set in sometime late August, September. Like I was in a program for a number of times with the governor of Kebbi State. He said they took proactive measures to ensure that they heeded to the forecast or to prediction the one is given to them. That ensured that they didn't lose lives as much, but properties, agricultural funds were lost because there was nothing they could do about that. Flood actually is a global phenomenon, and it causes more than 50% of natural disasters across the globe. So Nigeria is not immune. But what we are talking about is taking measures, responding. We've been able to talk to state governments continuously. We've been engaging them. The various ministries in the states, as we talk, we've been engaging them. Even for the COVID lockdown, we could have been able to travel to so many of these zones. We normally go out with pamphlets translated into the three major languages, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. We do road show, but we couldn't do it this particular year. To inform them, to educate the people on what they need to do. As a predicting agency, let me put it clear, very clearly. Ours is mainly advisory. We are not expected, and we cannot be expected to go to the states and begin to pull down structures which possibly the state government had given permit to be built at wrong locations. We are not in the position to go out and begin to use earth-moving equipment to clear the drainages that are blocked. So that's much we can do. Advocacy. Go to a developed world. They look forward to receiving forecasts. They work with the forecast that is being given to them. The ordinary man on the street runs with any forecast, any prediction that that is issued by the predicting agencies. There will be earthquake in social place at social time. Relocate. People will move immediately. But here in Nigeria, someone whose house is about 5 meters away from the bank of the river, you ask him to relocate within social period. He might tell you, this is where my forefathers lived. This is where my forefathers were buried. Therefore, I'm not stepping out. Or they've not witnessed such a level of flooding in some decades past. But there is a global climate change all over the world. So that the amount of rainfall being experienced these days may not be like what happened then. For instance, use Abuja as an example, or Nigeria as a whole. The land mass is never elastic. When I came to Abuja some years back, Abuja may not be up to 500,000 people living here. But today, I don't know what the record says, but it can be sure not less than 3 million people are living in Abuja. And they must have houses to live in. One of the basic needs of man, shelter. And because of that, encroachment of man on the river banks, flood plains, have taken place all over Abuja, for instance. We know what happened here a few months ago, or even a few weeks ago.
Okay, Mr. Anze, again, one of the mandates of your agency is to provide consultancy services to the public as regards hydrological issues. But then there's this other bit about ensuring uniform standards of observation of all hydrological phenomenon in Nigeria. If you're providing consultancy services to the states, you've told them what to do. But then when your mandate says ensure uniform standards of observation, what does that mean as regards this management of the flood waters that you've already predicted?
Okay, thank you for exhuming that statement from our act. Now, hydrological agencies all over the world are saddled with the study of the surface and groundwater resources of any country, of any nation. The movement of the water, the transboundary aquifers that cut across nations. Like in Nigeria, we have some underground reservoirs which we don't see, connecting Nigeria with Mali, with Libya, Tunisia, and so on and so forth. We have surface waters, rivers Niger and Benue, which are transboundary rivers. And then every country that is serious about the issues about hydrology has to ensure there is a standardization. By that we mean the agency provides direction with regards to hydrology or hydrological services in Nigeria. There has been a running battle. It is mainly at the federal level that we could see government agencies taking serious the issues about hydrology. One, all the ministries of water resources across the country, all the state water boards are supposed to have hydrological stations measuring several parameters on the rivers, the water quality, the movement of the rivers, what we call discharge, the rate of flow, the stage, that is the fluctuation going up and down. For us as an agency, we are doing a lot on that, measuring all the major rivers in Nigeria. Now, it is our duty, which we have been spearheading, to ensure that there is a uniform measurement, uniform standard, using equipment that will give you accurate data. For instance, I have people that are in the field. If I should call somebody now in Lokoja, what is the level of River Niger after the Niger and Benue have met downstream of the confluence? I will get the information today. In fact, it has been released already. What's the level of River Niger at that point? I want to know the reading of River Benue in Makurdi, in Wuroboki, Adamawa State. I get the information. River Niger entering into Nigeria through KB State. We have equipment measuring it somewhere at Jidrebode. We get the information. Now, each of the states have some rivers that are within their own catchments, that through their state ministry of water resources, state water boards, they are supposed to also establish similar measuring devices. You see, the rivers, we need such information when you are doing design. You can't just arbitrarily place your bridge height and say, make it 5 meters high. Even your own roads or the drainages by the roads, there must be standard. And that standard derives from measurements we have taken about the rainfall in those areas to determine the capacity, the current capacity. You don't just tell somebody in an estate, make the width of the side drain 2 feet by 2 feet, 2 feet wide, 2 feet deep. No. You have to do that using relevant data that have been measured over the years to tell you this will be the amount of runoff, the discharge, maybe during rainfall, that will be required to be conveyed through this channel, or else it will be overwhelmed. At times, bridges have been submerged because there is no, the design was done by the rule of the thumb without using data. So this is what we try to achieve by what we are talking about, standardization. That whatever equipment that is being used in Sokoto State to measure their rivers will be in line with one being used in Abia State, in Maiduguri, Borno State, in Lagos State likewise. Okay, so it has been a running battle, bringing or having such agencies being established, hydrological departments or units being established at the state level in the relevant ministries to be carrying similar activities as we do at the federal level.
But Mr. Nze, water tables in some states are high. Now, with the rains coming in, some of those water tables, of course, as the rains come, water tables rise and all of that. But in channeling and managing these flood waters to where they will better go, is your agency not involved in terms of consultancy and ensuring that the right thing is done so that flood waters are salvaged and then the environment is better protected?
This has been our message over the years. Just let me throw light a little bit into an issue. June, July, and early August, what ravaged most of the states in Nigeria was caused by urban and coastal flooding. Urban flooding because of the amount of rainfall within the states, within the catchments, which generated the runoff, the overland flow, that couldn't find a way to pass safely to maybe to the nearby river. They caused so much catastrophe. Now, the third leg of what we're experiencing now in terms of flooding is the river flooding, occasioned by transboundary river outside of our own control. Now, River Niger, which takes its course from Guinea-Conakry, moves on to Mali, from Mali to Niger Republic, from Niger Republic to Benin Republic, and then to Nigeria through Kebbi State. Once Niger Republic is flooded, once the level of water goes above a certain threshold, a red alert is sent to Nigeria because we are downstream. As we speak today, the water level is about 6.9 meters high, or 690 centimeters. That is a red alert zone, which is within the band of 6.2 meters and above. We have been there for about 2 weeks. That's the red alert level, and it is still there. As a result, downstream Niamey, Niger Republic, coming down to Nigeria, along the length of River Niger, from Kebbi State, Kebbi, Niger, Kwara, then coming down to Kogi, Edo, Anambra, Bayelsa, Rivers, Delta. Serious flooding is already taking place. So many houses have been pulled down in Niger State, about 25 communities. 100 communities in about 25 local government areas in Niger State. In Zamfara, the same thing has happened. In Kebbi State, which is the highest rice-producing state in Nigeria, they must have lost about the one planting season. They plant 3 times in a year. Now, our advocacy has been, which we cannot do by ourselves, why do we allow such huge volumes of fresh water to be wasted into the Atlantic Ocean in Nigeria? Over 200 billion cubic meters of fresh water annually lost through Nigeria to the Atlantic Ocean, whereas other countries of the world are crying for water. We have told the state governments, you can build diversion structures. As the river is flowing, the River Niger is passing through your territory.
Mr. Nze, if I may interrupt you here briefly, We'll just go on a very quick break. We'll come back and pick up from that point where the state governments are appearing not to heed the warnings and advice from your agency. What should be done? What can we do going forward? We'll look at that when we come back from this break. To stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We still have the Director General of the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency joining us from our Abuja studio, Mr. Clement Nze. Mr. Nze, before we went on that break, you were talking about the amount of water that is lost that could be salvaged and used for agricultural purposes. As you said earlier, you mentioned our first guest when we were talking about ensuring food security. One of the things you talked about is the fact that Nigeria's agricultural system is still rain-fed. So if the floodwaters and all these waters that are lost when the rivers exceed their boundaries are salvaged by the state government, it could make for continuous irrigation of the farmland, and so agriculture continues throughout the year. But how best can this be done if nobody, or as you've alluded, appears to be listening to your agency?
Yes, Nigeria is located downstream of so many other countries in the West and Central Africa that are brought together by the River Niger system. The River Niger system means rivers Niger and Benue. There are 9 countries on the river. On the West African flank, you have 7 countries, starting from Guinea, then Mali, Niger, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, then Nigeria for West Africa. Central Africa, for River Benue, you have Cameroon and Chad. All the waters in these countries, within their catchments, empty into River Niger eventually. And they all, from Benue, they meet in Lokoja in Nigeria. Now, I have attended several fora where we were negotiating the use of water. Like, say, Mali. You shouldn't take more than a certain percentage of the water passing through your territory from River Niger. In Niger Republic, you shouldn't take so amount, more than so threshold. Now, the question that has been posed to me several is, the water that comes down to you in Nigeria, why do you allow it to go and be wasted to the Atlantic Ocean? Eventually, it was agreed that Mali or any of the countries, you shouldn't take more than 25% of the volume of water passing through your territory. That way it is as of today. Now the question is, Nigeria, what are you doing with this huge volume of water passing through the states? We have been advocating that channels be constructed, artificial drainages. You can take it about from the bank of the river, River Niger, River Benue, in each of the states, as many as you can construct, build a deep channel during the dry season. Take the water, let it be maybe up to 50 kilometers away from the bank of the river. Then there you construct a reservoir, maybe 50 meters, 100 meters, 50 meters wide, 50 meters in length, 30 meters deep. Do a battery of it along the length of River Niger and Benue. So that when this water is passing during the rainy season, much will be entering into those reservoirs, into these basins you have constructed. By so doing, you are reducing the amount of water in the main channel of rivers Niger and Benue. That will reduce the flooding we are seeing. And then the water you have conserved could be used for year-round agriculture. For instance, in the north, from NIMET's prediction, around 26th of this September, some parts of Katsina State, Sokoto, and others, rainfall will begin to cease. There will be a period of dry spell, maybe from October up to possibly May, June the following year. This season, we are having about 3 to 4 months of rainfall, should have been properly utilized to arrest these volumes of water, not allow it to get wasted into the Atlantic Ocean every year. It could be replicated in each of the states. It could be done in each of the states. And when such is done, it has a ripple effect. Some of us in Abuja know what they call Jabi Lake. It is an artificial structure. Sometime in the 90s, before it came into being, the groundwater table in around that area, Jabi area, Life Camp, Guarempa, Otako, the water table, the yield of water, groundwater was too small. But today, because of that lake there, the groundwater has been recharged sufficiently that you can get enough water when you drill your boreholes. The atmosphere, I'm talking about the benefits. The atmosphere has been cooled so much. Jabi Lake serves as a recreational center. Go there every day from morning till evening. People are around it. You are creating small communities. You have reduced the impact of the rampaging rivers Niger and Benue. Agriculture has been enhanced. So there are a few things that could be done by the state governments. Virtually every state of Nigeria has universities, research institutes, where the professors are hungry to go and do work. Task them. There are professionals everywhere in the states, in the universities, who have done a lot of research. Let them translate their research into something that could be seen, that will help human beings, help the citizens. When you give them such a task, they will be at work and it will benefit the people.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Clement Nzez, Director General, Nigeria Hydrological Services, and joined us from our Abuja studio. Thank you for coming today. Let's hope that the state government will listen more and take more action to harnessing these flood waters. Thank you. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Do stay with us.